Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, who rule well and taught me this truth. Peace, blessings, salutations, and mercies to the elect, and the 1/3 remnant out there listening and doing this word with all faith and sincerity scattered amongst the nations and the four corners of the earth. To you I say shalom, Lord willing. This street teaching is edifying, okay? And I want to go into the names of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. You know, first and foremost, I write in the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God or Jehovah. His name is Yahweh. Yah meaning He, Howah meaning is to be, or to exist, okay? And His only begotten Son's name, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, the Christ, or Yeshua. His name is Yahushai. Yah meaning He, Yahushai meaning deliverer, okay? And that is what He's coming to do. He's coming to deliver so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans from this coming destruction, okay? And those of us scattered amongst the nations, right? In the four corners of the earth. He's coming for us, the believers, the faithful, all right? Because there is a impending doom coming to the earth, okay? And if you can't see it, all right, then, you know, it's a good chance that you're not selected. You haven't been selected to see it, right? And maybe your fate is to perish in one of the many plagues that the Lord is sent to the earth in which He made, all right? Because with all the stuff that's going on right now, you know, to not be able to come to the conclusion, or to not have an inkling of a clue that there is a terrible, there's something brewing, okay, that may not be seen, okay, but you should definitely feel it, all right, with the wars in the Middle East, to the troubles here in America domestically, all right? The people are being aroused, right? People are rising up against their governments. There's a lack of trust, a lack of love, okay? There's a lot of death. There are pestilences. We 6 years removed from the pandemic, right? So there's a lot of things when you look back on the things that have transpired in recent years, okay? You have to have some type of inclination that something isn't right, okay? And that's what we're here to confirm, that something isn't right and things aren't good, and they're gonna get worse before they get worse, right? Because there is not much, honestly, there's not much, if you're looking for a feel good, all right, to make you feel better every day, you know, unless your mind has been altered to accept this gospel, this isn't gonna make you feel good, because this world is coming to an end, okay? We're at the very end of this world, all right? So don't be fooled by what you see on the news, you know? Don't be fooled by what they saying is a ceasefire, by what they telling you that the strait is opened up, so prices are going down, but then you read on the news that the strait is closed, and but Trump said it's open, and there's just a lot of confusion, and that's purposeful, all right? That's the intent, to keep people not knowing what the hell is going on while their world crumbles from beneath them, all right? So, start off with, this is Habakkuk 2. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. Right, we're watching these events that are transpiring in the world through the lenses of the scriptures, because we are watching for prophecies, okay? Because this holy book, okay, called the Bible, is full of them, all right? Full of prophecies. And a lot of people don't really understand that, okay? Due to all the misinterpretations, due to the misrepresentations, all right, of what these scriptures actually represent, and what is being told, all right, in them. People don't understand the scriptures, therefore they don't understand the Most High power, all right? He is coming to bring judgment, all right? And the things that you're witnessing in the earth that are all accumulated are just precursors, all right? It's like foreplay, okay? Because when it really pops off, people will be longing for these moments that we're in right now, all right? They're gonna wish they had them, all right? So we're monitoring, and we're gauging where exactly are we in terms of prophecy, all right? Because that's what this is all about, okay? World War III, that the whole conflict between Iran and America and Israel, that is prophetic, okay? It's prophetic, and it doesn't just end there, all right? Iran came out and said, or one of the spokesmen for the Iranians came out and said, he said that if this war is to start up again, next time it's going to be global. So he's promising escalation in the next rounds of this conflict, all right? He's promising that this time it'll extend further than just the Middle East region, West Asia, which is that's a serious threat, all right? Because what happened roughly 7 weeks ago, had an effect globally, all right? You've seen gas prices rise, all right? You've seen certain products rise. You've seen a slowdown in certain areas. I mean, mainly in different parts of the world. But in America, we're beginning to see it. You definitely felt it when it comes to gas and diesel prices. You felt that immediately, okay? And you might have noticed that certain things went up in price because the price of transportation had increased, all right? But now you're kind of in this state of, limbo, right? Where you don't really see much happening, okay? Because everything is, they're allegedly working out a ceasefire, but you're seeing the markets go up and down, okay? Because they're manipulating what's happening, because they're making a profit out of it, okay? They're profiting from this conflict, okay? So don't think that it just ends here. This is just the pause, right? In order to reposition for the next stage. okay, which will be more global. It will reach further than it even reached this time, and this time it reached everywhere. And so what does that look like? We gonna see. All right, and Yahweh Shema Washah answered and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Right. That's us looking at the world through the lenses of the scriptures and not vice versa. A lot of people, they get these scriptures, okay, and they read them and they interpret them with the worldly scope, right? With the worldly view, all right? Not understanding that, you know, they're cursing themselves while they do that. Because what did the scriptures say? Cursed is the man who taketh away and adds to these scriptures, man. So they're taking away their name out of the book of life, and then they're adding plagues unto themselves, stepping out into something that they know not about. It's a very dangerous game to play, man. Okay? It would be best for you not to say shit. All right? Sit back, listen, and learn. Okay? Because guarantee you the things that what you think don't align with the will of the Most High, especially if you come in fresh out of this world, man. If you don't have an understanding, if you ain't been taught, okay, correctly, all right, you're not gonna get it, okay? But that's what we here for. We here to break it down for you, all right? For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Right? It's not gonna tarry. It's not gonna exceed the given time. Right? It's gonna happen right when it needs to. So people are looking at this limbo period like, oh, I knew it was gonna go back to normal. Right? The people that were once afraid, and that were once looking at what was happening and starting to have a healthy fear, now that this is all kind of cooled down in a sense, they went right back to their bullshit. They went right back to the folly. Okay? Showing that it was all just an act anyway. All right? Because that's what people like to do. They like to pretend like they care. All right? When people are in trouble, everybody want to turn godly. Right? Not everybody want to, you know, got a message. Right? But then when nothing's happening, you see them for who they truly are. All right? A wicked individual. All right? Because now when it's, you know, for a minute, for those 6 weeks, a lot of mouths went silent. Okay? Those crazy ass, you know, bugged out ass doctrines, they kind of slowed down for a second. Right? You didn't hear too much about them, or at least I didn't, right? But now that this period of time has come to where there's almost like a stalemate, all right? Now they going right back, tapping right back into that demonic ass spirit, okay? Not understanding that this is sure to continue. It's sure to pick up again. All right? It's definitely going to. Nothing's been resolved. Nothing's changed. What's changed? Right? But that's how simple and docile people are of this world, man. They don't have the ability to think further than what they can see, man. Right? They have no foresight. That's what makes the prophets of Yahweh Shema Shai so valuable. We have that ability to see into the future. Okay? Of world events and things that are to happen. Okay? All through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, of course. You know? This is Habakkuk 50, Salaki. Isaiah 55:11. So shall my word be that go forth. out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Right. The things in which the Lord has spoken are sure to come to pass. It's impossible for him to lie. Right? He can't lie. He's bound to his word. Okay? But what he isn't bound to is the expectations of people. All right? Because you got some guys out there who seen what was happening and they were, on fire, super, up and running. And now that it's cooled down, they cool down. What's up with that, man? Now all of a sudden, they back to the bullshit. Now understanding that this is only for this is a temporary stop. They said it's a temporary ceasefire, man. So that means that it's not gonna last long. Okay? It's almost, the scriptures liken it into a woman that's about to conceive a child. All right? Every contraction comes closer and closer and closer. All right? Up until the point of the child being born. And guess what? Every contraction is more and more intense. All right? It gets worse and worse because she's dilated, waiting to get to a certain, I forget how far along before the baby comes. I think it's like 10 centimeters or some shit. But up until she hits the point to where the baby is ready to come out, those contractions are more and more vicious. Okay? She's in more and more pain, and that's likened to America. All right? So this latest contraction was just that, right? But that next one is going to be even worse. The first round, right? In the contractions, you can say last year during the 12-day war with Iran and Israel, right? You can liken that into that first contraction. It was short, but it was intense. This latest round, you can liken that into another contraction. It was more intense, okay? More was on the line, all right? More happened, and it lasted longer. And now it stopped. But that next contraction, right, is gonna take shorter time to happen, and it's gonna be more intense. That's why all of these promises of escalation, man, are they're gonna be fulfilled. Okay? It's gonna happen. Because the Lord spoke it. He said it. His word isn't gonna come back void. All right? It isn't gonna come back void. It's gonna happen exactly how he said it's gonna happen. All right? And to be frank with you, there is a lot of prophecy that has to take place before this war reaches its pinnacle, which will be thermonuclear missiles being fired off. There's a lot that has to happen. A digital currency, okay? The introduction of biometric identity, right? So people being microchipped, brain-computer interfaces becoming more prevalent. Okay, the economy as we see it turning upside down, right? Because in order for them to bring in that new digital currency, this system has to go out. It has to phase out. All right. So these things has to happen. These things have to happen. Okay. More of these nations being gathered in the valley. Right. These things have to happen. Okay, persecution, of the prophets of Yahweh Shem Shah, right? The people have to continue to this dissatisfaction has to continue to bubble within the people, and people taking up the, you know what, we're gonna go into it, man. We're gonna go up into the things that has to happen before the inevitable. Okay, you can't skip over prophecies, all right, which people don't understand that. So they take this time, really this is grace. They take this time of grace as weakness, like it's not gonna happen now, right? Well, really this is your time. The Lord's given us all more time to get ourselves right? And that's all. Hey, why do you how about Sherman shop for that? Okay? Because honestly, with what's about to happen, we need we need all the time we can get, right? In context, okay? Not saying we're trying to be here for forever, right? We've been ready. Any brother will tell you truthfully, he was ready yesterweek, right? But as far as just spiritually cleansing ourselves, right? Being able to take another day to get closer to the Lord, we appreciate that time. This is 2nd Ezra 4 and 40. So he answered me and said, go thy way to a woman with a child. Wait a minute, it's like this is 2nd Ezra 4 and 37. By measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times, and he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. So there's more to be fulfilled in this time interval that we're in. There's more things to happen before the next thing happens, if that makes sense. But you can see it, right? You can see it. You can see the buildup. You can see it all coming, accumulating, right? You can see these things happening. Then answered I and said, O Lord, that bearest rule, even we are all full of iniquity, and for our sakes peradventure it is that the floors of the righteous are not filled, because of the sins of them that dwell upon the earth. Right, so this is Ezra, he's really not, understanding that everything happens on the Lord's time, not our own. Okay, and the scripture said that no man knoweth the time or the day or the hour. Okay, the only thing we know is the signs and the signals to look for. One of the greatest signs and signals to look for is the fact that we out here teaching. Okay, we out here teaching the truth, so we know that our time here is short, all right? But we're getting closer to the time to where we won't have that ability to do so, okay? One thing that during this latest contraction, being the Iran war, okay, is that censorship became more tight. Okay, and it went under the radar and it went almost untalked about, but in a lot of countries, you couldn't post what was happening. You couldn't post the missiles falling in a certain area. You couldn't post the results of what happened when those missiles failed. You couldn't post about the sheer numbers of people that were injured or dying, or the destruction that it caused. You can't post these things, okay? In a lot of places, you can get a prison sentence for posting the truth behind the war that just took place, right? But that went under the radar, okay? Especially in the land of Israel. You could not post nothing. Matter of fact, my backup channel got a strike because I posted simply Iranian missiles falling upon the Israelis. And they came and gave me a strike. I didn't put no commentary to it. There was no music involved. None of that. But they struck my channel because of it. Okay? Showing you that censorship is becoming more and more tight. All right? You can't even post fucking missiles being shot now. Okay, so the next step is gonna be that you can't post anything negative about what's happening. All right? You can't contradict the mainstream narrative. This is what's coming. Okay? Best believe it. Okay? They eventually, okay, we're going to be a part of it. We're going to be lumped into these things that you cannot participate in. You cannot do because we represent a adverse opinion, right? We are adversaries to this system and to this structure and to this government. So they're not going to allow us to keep our platforms to be able to go out and talk against it. All right? It only makes sense. Okay? And the Lord said that these things would happen. Famine of the word. Right? And when this happens, now we're going to really understand. We're going to really know, wow, we can't even teach no more. And that means pretty much the doors of mercy are closed. And we're getting closer and closer and closer to that day. Okay? We're getting closer to it, man. And who knows, in that next contraction, that might be it. Because this latest round was pretty intense, man. It was intense. Every day you looking up, I mean, it was wild, man. They shut down the Strait of Hormuz. They threatened to shut down the Red Sea. You had different major players getting involved. You got China trying to step in. You got Russia trying to step in. You got America trying to pressure its allies. Right? All these prophecies in which we go into day in and day out, you can see them materializing in real time. Okay? But before it all happens in full, we there are things to happen, right? There's just so much to happen, right? This is verse 40. So he answered me and said, go thy way to a woman with child, and ask of her when she hath fulfilled her 9 months, if her womb may keep the birth any longer within her. So, right, that's a metaphor for the time, or for the time in which we in with the prophecies, right? When these things come to pass, when the RFID microchip is implemented and those missiles are shot off, okay, there won't be any additional time, okay? If you want to be frank about it, we're already in extra time, okay? We're already in extra time. Esau has been granted a little more time, but it's really not even for his sake, okay? It's for the sake of the elect and for the sake of prophecy, all right? So we're already in extra time. So we may be thinking, because we're living in this hell, oh shit, man, this shit, it's taking forever. I'm tired of going to work, which we are, man. Tired of going through bullshit. Got court next week. What the fuck? Got a ticket. When is this shit gonna end, man? Okay? And if you're weak-minded, you're gonna let those things take you out the spirit, because you're gonna develop the mentality of, man, this ain't gonna never happen, right? And that's what we say. This ain't for the weak, man. Okay, it's for the spiritually sound, for the faithful, for the strong in Yahweh Bashim Shot, right? So we know better than that. okay? But like he said, when those 9 months be fulfilled, it ain't gonna be no more anything, man. So we clearly not, the due date ain't here yet. But guess what? We spiritually, we look at, if the return of Yahweh Shai is that baby being born all through the spirit, we looking at that belly, big. Almost looking like she ready to pop. But we know she's not ready to pop because there's a few more things that has to happen, okay? She ain't even went into labor yet, okay? But we almost there, man. We are almost there. It ain't too much longer, man. It ain't too much longer that we gotta wait, okay? Then said, I know, Lord, that can she not. And he said unto me, in the grave chambers of souls are like the womb of a woman. For like as a woman that travaileth maketh haste to escape the necessity of the travail, even so do these places haste to deliver those things that are committed unto them. Exactly. Right? So when that woman's in labor and she's trying to get that baby out, and she wanna have it already, man. Her feet swollen. She can't walk, all right, the way that she wants to. She can't do the things in which she want to do, okay? Her body's changed. She's ready for that baby to drop, okay? She's ready to push it out. But there's nothing she can do, okay? Of course, with Esau technology and shit now, you can, you can induce labor and shit. But before then, right before this ability or this pseudo miracle was able to take place, there was nothing that she could do to be able to do or to be able to have that baby earlier, right? She had to go through with the full term, okay? And you can argue most women still have to, right? Even with the technology and shit that we have today, most women still have to come into full term, all right? No, regardless of how bad they want it to happen, how bad they wish they could speed up time, they can't, okay? And we are in that same predicament, but that baby's coming, okay? That baby is coming, right? So that's what we have to look forward to, okay? Let's see. Select it. This is First Thessalonians 5. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, right? Because we're observing, we see it, okay? And we don't know it, we don't have a specific time anyway, right? There is no specific date. We just have prophecies to go by, okay? For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night, right? So it's not gonna come when you expect it. Okay? You don't know the thief is in your home until you hear, the damn window break, or you may hear something fall off the counter that wakes you up. You're like, what the fuck? What's going on? Okay? And then you like, most people will be looking around like, what the fuck, I know, how can I ain't got no pets, I ain't got no animals. My wife is right here next to me. It got to be somebody in my house. Then you might hear a door open and close, and So you weren't aware that was gonna happen. You were in sleep. You were asleep, right? It woke you up out of your sleep. Okay. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Right. Peace and safety. Are they not saying that? Right. A ceasefire. Right. The Strait of Hormuz is open. We're negotiating terms. We stop firing upon our neighbors, and you know what I mean? It's this big old push for peace all of a sudden, right? Everybody want to get along now. Okay, but then the Lord says, sudden destruction shall come upon them. As a woman with a child, right? Because a woman don't know when that water's gonna break. She's just walking around, belly, out, hanging. And then what? She feels that trickle of fluid go down her leg. And now she knows, oh shit, I'm in labor. And when that fluid comes out, she instantly feels the pain, man. It hits hard, boom. It's there, man. She's like, oh shit, that contraction, the contractions start, right? And that's what we're there, man. Those contractions have started, and they've been started. All right, they've been started. You can go you can really, 2020, the pandemic. Okay, the world changed for forever. All right, things have yet to go back to a pre-COVID era, man. Right? Everything's changing. Still see the remnant of what happened. People still wearing masks and shit. Side effects still kicking certain people ass. Right? They'll still even ask you on the if you're trying to get hired for certain jobs, they'll still even ask if you got it. Did you get inoculated with the, C-Max 19 or whatever, right? So, we're here, okay? But ye, brother, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief, right? Because we were looking for that thief to come. We're not ignorant of these events that are happening. Okay, we understand that these events are happening. We don't know when exactly it's gonna happen. We don't know what day. We don't have a time of year. We don't have that, but we do understand that it's happening. And the things that we can see in the world, all right, the things that we have the ability to see, that we stumble upon because the Lord gave us that eye salve. He gave us the ability to see things through the Spirit. We can tell that that thief is outside the door, man. Okay? Matter of fact, he's picking the lock. Right? He's getting ready to make his way in that house. Okay? He's getting ready, man. Hey, and another thing that has to happen is Jacob's trouble. Yeah, Jacob's trouble is here. But there's there's levels to everything, right? And we just ain't, Jake ain't really in trouble right now, man. Like to the point to where niggas kicking in your door. Like you kind of seen a glimpse of that with ICE, right? The whole ICE race and shit. But even that's kind of slowed down, you know? Or at least you don't see a lot of news about it, okay? Because Esau likes to prowl, right? Or he likes to pry, Salakia. He likes to, poke, and then he goes, right? He set you up, not knowing when exactly is gonna come, right? A lot of feints. And then he comes with the overhand, right? Thinking, and he wants to catch you thinking it's another feint, right? And when you in that mindset, oh, it's just enough, bow, that's when it hits you. All right, now you on the ground. Now you leaking. Okay, that's how Esau likes to get down. Okay? He likes to hit you when you least expect it. Just as Khomeini over there in Iran, right? When he least expected it, he wiped him out with his whole family. All right? Talking about fucking peace negotiations and all this other shit, right? And then he, fucking triple tapped him along with a fucking all girls school, right? So that's how he likes to work. Okay, but these things are gonna happen though, right? This is Isaiah 13 and 6. How ye, for the day of Yahweh Shema is at hand, it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Right, it is at hand. He said, how? Well, you should be in a spirit of, you should be in a solemn spirit. Okay, because of the things that are taking place in this earth. The future is not pretty. Okay, it's not looking good. Not for the everyday person. All right, but it's good for us because we want these things to happen, because we understand that at the end of them, Yahweh Shah is going to redeem us, man. Lord willing, we part of that number. But for the average, everyday, person, especially in America, you have nothing good to look forward to, okay? Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. Right. You're gonna, your heart's gonna drop to the bottom of your feet, okay? And that's how a lot of these people feel after they get the next headline news article, right? Because it's usually something, recently it's been nothing but bad, okay? It's like every time you look, it's something worse and worse and worse. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people don't even pay attention to the news no more, man, because it makes them feel bad, right? I know for a fact that a lot of women don't pay attention to the news. I know for a fact, because they don't like the way it makes it scary, right? It's scary. It's uncomfortable. And that's the last thing a woman wants to be, uncomfortable. But that's how she should be, right? So a lot of people don't, they don't pay no mind, man. Coachella's going on, all right? Got the Grand Prix. It's playoff time. There's a lot of distractions out there. Okay, baseball season's here, right? There's a lot of things to keep your mind occupied, but eventually we're getting to the point to where those things will not be able to occupy your mind anymore, man. Okay, let a cyber attack happen. Let fucking fuel continue to rise in the way that it has just risen this last 2 months, right? Let one of those fuel surges hit again. It'll become more and more harder to ignore reality, which people here in America are so accustomed to doing. They're accustomed to ignore reality because a lot of the things that go on in the world, they're shielded from, okay, here on Turtle Island, right? They're not affected by it, at least momentarily, okay? But they will be affected when their pockets start to hurt. And they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Right? They're not gonna believe it. Holy shit! Wow, the S&P 500 is at 0 today. They're not gonna have any clue why. At that point, they're gonna start asking questions. Right? Oh, my whole stock portfolio is gone. You know, the page didn't load. You know, my bank account, you know, the app's not working. And there is no time frame on when they're gonna get it back up. Okay? When it starts to affect these people's pockets, because one thing about Americans, they love money, man. Okay, because they're all bewitched by the talisman, right? By the lure of the almighty dollar. Okay, people here love money. They've been made and programmed and conditioned to worship it. Okay, especially women. All right, and quite frankly, a lot of men now operate as women, so they're also in the spirit of idolizing currency, right? So when reality starts to affect your pockets, then they're gonna trust and believe. They're gonna react, man. Okay, you kind of seen that a little bit with the gas prices, but it didn't. That wasn't hard enough. Okay, that didn't hit hard enough. It was enough for where people would complain about it, but not to where they're going to do something about it, okay? Because when people lose it all, they lose it, okay? That's why the scriptures talk about it, right? What happens when that happens, man? This is This is Zephaniah 1 and 10. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh Shema Shai, that there shall be the cry, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and an howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Right, these are all places of merchants. All right, the fish gate, okay, the markets, right? So when these things are affected, when people realize that they don't have a pension, their retirement, they're no longer gonna get government subsidies, they're gonna have to get cut because we got to give $32 billion to Israel, right? Then it's gonna start to you know, wake a lot of people up, okay? Because as long as they have the ability to work and pay their bills, they're gonna keep functioning as the rats that they are, right? The rats on the wheel, just going in circles and circles. But once they don't have the ability to meet those monthly obligations, rent a mortgage, or car payments, insurance, okay, credit card bills and all this other shit, then it's gonna hit, man. Then that's when these people are gonna react. There's gonna be a real, true reaction, okay? Because nobody wants their money played with, okay? Niggas crash out all the time once they, you know, get that child support letter and see that they got 25 cents off their check from the last time they worked. A lot of niggas crashed right when that happened, you know? How many videos brothers have done of dudes, you know, going and unaliving they wife and kids, right? And you look into it and they go back to child support and not being able to see the child and all this other shit, man. So just wait until that spirit spreads among everybody, because everybody's gonna be in the same predicament, right? It may not be child support that take your money, but things are gonna get so much more unaffordable that you can't afford to live, okay? How ye inhabitants of Mactish, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off, right? You ain't gonna have no more access to the fucking Bank of America or Wells Fargo, right? Navy Federal, your mobile app and shit. All that shit's gonna be gone, done away with, okay? Because they have to get rid of this system. Out with the old, in with the new. They have to do it, okay? And the people who are gonna feel it the most are you Americans, okay? That digital currency is gonna be the end of this first world type lifestyle in which people are living and used to. It's gonna be the end of it. It's no more partying. It's not gonna be any more bullshitting. No more Coachella. No more expensive gifts, right? No more OnlyFans, because ain't nobody gonna be donating to your fucking platform, okay? To see some pussy. That's not gonna be happening no more, because people aren't gonna have the means to make that happen no more. Right now, they're playing the stock. Right now they're maxing out that credit card, right? That's why every day you look up, oil is up, and then next time you look at it, oil is down, because they're playing that system. That's why when Trump, he makes a statement, oil prices go down. Another statement comes out, oil prices go up. Somebody on the back end is buying, and somebody on the front end is selling. And that's how that works, man. So they're destroying the economy with this. They're destroying the middle class, okay? And after they feel they got enough, they're gonna pull the card, man. The house of cards gonna come crumbling, okay? And you people are gonna be left clueless. You're gonna be howling. You're gonna be afraid. You're gonna be upset, and you're gonna want somebody to blame, okay? And you're not gonna give a fuck about your job. You're not gonna care about your obligations to these bills, okay? Because you're gonna see it then, all right? What'd you say? They're gonna cast out their silver? And through the spirit, hey man, this might be the next thing to happen, okay? Along with that being the persecution of the prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because they can no longer afford to have truth tellers out in the world no more, man. There's so many lies, and the truth dispels every lie, and they can't afford to have that no more, all right? It was cool while it lasted. It served its purpose. The purpose being to wake up the elect of Israel, okay? But now, Lord willing, that's been accomplished. We can move on with the next stage, man, which is this house of cards coming down, okay? This is Ezekiel 7 and 19. I started 18. They shall also gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them, and shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon all their heads, right? Because they're gonna feel so foolish for believing in this system, man. Okay? Just like they kind of feel that, people who are honest, they feel that now with, people who went out and voted for Donald Trump, okay? People who thought that the politicians or the parties that they were for were gonna change things for them, or they believed in them, they are feeling duped. Okay, if their pride will allow them to admit it, they know that they were wrong. Okay, well, that feeling is only gonna expand and exacerbate the more these things, the more these plagues from on high continue to take place in the earth. The more people become affected by what's happening, okay? Those feelings are only gonna increase, all right? And they're gonna be humbled, man. And they're gonna be upset and angry. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shai. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because of it is the stumbling block of their iniquity, right? A lot of people in this society, in this world that we live in, are satisfied by the money that they get, right? Everybody has become so material. The world is so materialistic, okay? So when people measure their position in life by the things in which they can afford, right? The things in which they can do with the money that they've been given. But pretty soon you won't be able to do anything with no amount of money, because your money the dollar is not going to be king anymore. So your position in the world is going to change seemingly overnight. And these events that we're seeing in other parts of the world, they're only forwarding that agenda. Okay, it's not helping you, or it's not helping you. It's helping the agenda to remove the dollar as the world reserve currency. Okay, the petrodollar, right? Because oil and the U.S. dollar are linked.
So that's what
okay? So as these things continue to transpire, your dollar is going to get weaker. The purchasing power is going to get lesser. People are going to get more desperate. And pretty soon, no one's going to give a fuck about the dollar, man. Nobody's going to care about a greenback. Okay, it's going to be about survival. It's going to be about food. Okay, because there's about to be a lot of food insecurities. Okay, they're going to be about any type of substance that you could get now that's in abundance. It's not going to be in abundance in a few months, man. Especially as things continue to progress down this dark, long, windy road that we're on, man. It's not going to get better. Okay? So don't think that this momentary pause is a sign that it's going to get better, because it's not. Okay? It's only meant to keep you docile, to keep you asleep. Okay? To have you thinking that, oh man, I knew it was going to get better. Right? To have you go out and spend more. Right? Make these corporations more money. Okay? Go out and isn't it convenient? Spring break, summertime. Now all of a sudden it's a pause. Right? This is where people spend money. Okay? And they're trying to destroy the middle class. So they need you to go spend the rest of the little money you got in your savings, the rest of the money that you got in your check-ins, right?
Oh man, I got you, bro.
They need you to go and do that. Okay? So then, when the next time they come with it, they're, oh, wow, all right. So now we have this much more wealth. All right? Up until the point to where they're going to squeeze every single penny out of you, man. Because what does it say? that that, matter of fact, I'll get it. This is Job 20 and 22. In the fullness, here we go. Job 20 and this is Job 20 and 20 in the NIV. Surely he will have no respite from his craving. He cannot save himself by his treasure, right? And he's trying to heap up all these, because Esau is carnal, man. He's a firm believer in that his riches are going to protect him from everything, right? Even the scriptures say that money is a defense, all right? And with his wealth, with Esau's blessing, okay, he's only contributed to, or with his wealth, he's only contributed to his blessing. He's only perfected his blessing more and more and more. Okay, thinking that this is what's gonna keep him in power. Okay, but it's not. All right. Nothing is left for him to devour. His prosperity will not endure. Right? He's sucking up the dregs, man. He wants every single drop. Okay, he wants it all. All right. At the end of it all, there's only going to be uber rich and poor, man. All right. Everybody's going to be on the same level for the vast majority of people. If you're not an elite, you're not going to be able to live beyond paycheck to paycheck, right? Because we know he's doing away with that system of paycheck to paycheck. He wants to bring in universal basic income, okay? So if you're not one of those uber elite wealthy families, you're not going to be able to live a even mediocre life, right? That's why he wants to come with that RFID microchip to make sure of it. There won't be any escape or way around his system. Okay? In the midst of his plenty, distress will overtake him. The full force of his misery will come upon him, right? So as he's gulping down all these riches, as he's, thinking in himself that he's about to achieve his goal of global superiority, right? Forever, okay? Because if it weren't for the sake of the elect, he would achieve these goals, man. And all flesh would cease to exist because of the madness of this man, right? This is an ingenious plan, an evil but yet genius plan to be able to keep all nations and all subjects up into yourself, okay? But it's gonna fail because the Lord did not give him the blessing of heaven, all right? He doesn't have rulership for all eternity. That blessing belongs to Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? When he has filled his belly, the Most High will vent his burning anger against him and rain down his blows on him, right? So when he's full, right? When he finally got to the point to where he believes that he's content, the Lord's gonna rain it upon him, man, and he's gonna throw up everything that he's hoarded, okay? Because he's only hoarding it for us to inherit, man, okay? He's hoarding these riches. He's extracting this wealth from the world, and he's doing all that he's doing only for us to inherit it. He's putting in all this work for us, okay? Little does he know, he's not gonna be able to reap the benefits of his labor, just like we weren't able to reap the benefits of our labor for so long, man. Okay? And at the end of the day, he's gonna go from on top of the world to the very, 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 very bottom, man, to a pit below the earth, man. Okay? Where he's gonna be there to await judgment. All right? So, that's all I got. Lord willing, this street teaching was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, who ruled well and taught me the truth. Peace, blessings, salutations, and mercies to the elect, and the 1/3 remnant out there listening and doing this word with all faith and sincerity, scattered amongst the nations and the four corners of the earth. To you I say shalom. And DTA, Abad Babal, DTN, shalom.